Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I have another update for you guys in the whole Mike Rashid Iron Addicts Miami fiasco. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And no, this is obviously not an April Fool's. I already did my April Fool's joke for you guys. I don't ever do two of those. Not cool to do that. So, it appears that the guy Johnny Bravo on his channel finally got permission to release one of the order forms from Mike Rashid under his real name. Now, this is probably an early form, I'm going to speculate, because we don't know how much further he got involved in the operation. He also in there has some stuff for lobster liner, but he doesn't have the actual order form. But that's interesting because there's a bunch of Tren, Anavar, HGH, stuff like that in that order form. That's interesting news, but you know, that's only speculation without documentation. So that just is what it is. Not much you can do there till he puts out actual evidence. But he's got the order forms on there under Rashid's real name, his legal name. A lot of people don't know that. Mike Rashid is not his real name. That's his stage name. That's his stage name. But, yeah, he put it out. And it's interesting because, you know, you've got Mike is standing here talking about how he thought it was a totally legal operation, even in the beginning, you know, that he was convinced this is a totally legal operation. He didn't know any laws were broken, but he ordered, allegedly in this order form on his name, to his address and everything up in Phoenix, he ordered Trenbolone. Now, if it was just Anavar and testosterone, okay, maybe he thought he had a prescription for those, because those are prescribable in the United States. People get prescription for that. But Tren, there is no legal prescription for Tren. It is not legal to put Tren in a human being. Isn't legal. But there you have it, his order for that. And there's supposed to be a lot more of this stuff coming out. It'll be interesting to see. Now, here's the big kicker. We all know, I hope no one really thought Rashid was natural all this time. I really and truly hope no one out there was ignorant enough to think this. Because if you do, that's scary how bad people have been fooled in this industry. And you know what? Actually, I'm saying I hope that, but the truth is tons of people believe that. You know why? Because people have been sold such a line of bullshit by this industry. You know, these people actually look up to bodybuilding and the bodybuilding world sometimes because they don't know any better. They've been fed this big illusion that this is all a big, awesome thing, that, man, it's a bunch of strong alpha males, you know, who have this work ethic for what they do. And the reality is the whole bodybuilding world is so morally and spiritually bankrupt and corrupt that it's mind-blowing. And if you get around it, that's true. You know, and I did a video on that earlier today, kind of discussing that for young men, of really the realities of that whole world. And, you know, I had someone kind of come in there who's like, man, you know, you just have this deep-seated hatred for bodybuilding. And it's kind of like, that's like going to a Christian and telling them they have this deep-seated hatred for Satanism or against the devil. It's like, I thought it was pretty obvious, man. I mean, I've explained in detail why bodybuilding is actually evil. The whole bodybuilding world is so corrupt that the whole thing is vile and disgusting, and everybody involved with that whole world. I don't mean someone just who lifts weights to look better. I'm talking about people who are involved in the whole bodybuilding community. That community is so corrupt and morally bankrupt and disgusting and terrible for your health on every level possible that, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that it has promoted itself as part of the fitness world, that it associates itself with fitness, that the whole supplement industry has pushed it in as some part of fitness. The bodybuilding world has no place in fitness. The entire bodybuilding world is literally about nothing but drugs, drugs, gay prostitution, drugs, partying, gay prostitution, drugs, drugs, drugs. And I don't just mean bodybuilding drugs. The whole bodybuilding world is fueled on narcotics. And if you get around these guys, I mean, Jerry Ward's a junkie. Like I was saying in the other video, Jerry Ward is a junkie. A former heroin and Nubain addict. Admits that he has been an addict. And I guess once you're an addict, you're always an addict. You don't lose your addiction to a narcotic or something just because you've weaned yourself off of it. You're always going to be an addict. You're just an addict in remission, an addict in recovery. But he is an addict to these things, and he admits that they were introduced to him by top-level bodybuilders. The bodybuilding world got him involved in these recreational drugs. Like, what do you guys think goes on in this community? Like, do people really think all these bodybuilders who inject insane amounts of drugs, to build their body, that they don't indulge in party drugs too? I mean, think about that. When you have guys who are willing to inject themselves 4, 5, 10 times a day with stuff, do you really think they have a problem with using needles to party a little bit? Do you really think they got a problem with that? At a certain threshold, they're desensitized to this stuff. And that whole world is a massive party scene. The whole world's a massive party scene. And I have met, over my years, plenty of bodybuilders who partake in coke, heroin, everything else. It's kind of normal. That's normal in that scene. It is a party scene, and like any other party scene, think about it. It involves scantily clad men posing and flexing in their underwear. There's a lot of gay prostitution involved. And I mean, think about it. Stop and just look at the various images and stuff you see these guys doing hanging out. You know, stop and think about Rashid and all these other guys you see them hanging out with, the different things you see these guys do in these different crews, even who are YouTubers who are involved in bodybuilding. And often has a bunch of guys hanging around in their underwear, posing and flexing and hanging out and slapping each other and hugging each other. You know, homies over hoes. Think about that, guys. Just step back and think about what you're looking at here, what's really going on. A bunch of oily, sweaty dudes in their underwear flexing and stuff with each other. Half the time you don't see any women around. All right, it's homies over hoes. And you guys remember the Boondocks? You remember that show, The Boondocks? That show was fantastic. That was an amazing social commentary. And I'm even saying that as a conservative white guy. Boondocks was an amazing social commentary on multiple levels in our society. All right, it really was. You step back and you watch that show. You remember the whole stuff about the homies over hoes? And it actually turned out it was really like that down low lifestyle is what it was really all about. All right. These guys aren't even really hiding it. Think about that. Just think of the different images and things you've seen involved in this whole bodybuilding scene that you're thinking, oh, these are a bunch of strong alpha males and they're chasing pussy. Is that really what they're portraying when they're all hanging out and it's just the guys? All right, maybe Chris Jones always has girls around. Chris Jones has girls around all the time. He's always got hot girls. But a lot of these guys, stop and think about it. Do you really see them hanging around with a bunch of chicks? No, it's all, you know, homies over hoes. Just think about it. Put that image in your head, you know, because once you see it in your head and you come to a realization, that's the thing about an epiphany, a realization. Once you get that visual image in your head of Rashid, all these other bodybuilding guys always hanging out, Jeff Side, hanging out with all these other dudes, the whole Aesthetics crew. And it's all just a bunch of dudes in their underwear, flexing and sweating and hanging out together. All right, homies over hoes. Once that image is in your head and you see it, you can't unrealize it. You can't unsee it. Stop and think about that. Think about that. That is the bodybuilding world. That's the bodybuilding community. That's what it is. And it's all about that down low lifestyle. And they love attracting young, new, fit young men into this whole lifestyle. But the reality is, guys, it's nothing macho or masculine when you really think about what it is that goes on here. It's a bunch of dudes hanging out with each other in their underwear, working out, pumping iron together, pumping together. All right? The whole bodybuilding thing. And I'm not hating on people who are gay. I'm telling you to look at it for what it is. And stop and think about what this whole bodybuilding world really is. The whole bodybuilding scene, the scene itself, the whole service they portray to sell supplements, because the supplement industry puts that forward, that's not really what this community is about. This community is about the down low lifestyle, and it's about drugs, it's about partying, and it's about anabolics. All right, that's what bodybuilding is. And that's right there where Mike is. Rashid's right there hanging out with all these top bodybuilders, talked about all these respectable bodybuilders endorsed this company, so he thought it was okay while he's buying trim. But the bodybuilding world isn't respectable. You know, it would be respectable if they were just open about everything. You know, that's the difference. I'm not even hating on it for being gay. I'm hating on the fact that they portray it as something different instead of them all just coming out. No, man, this is just all about a bunch of dudes hanging out, flexing and stuff together in our underwear. All right, this is about that down low lifestyle. That's what bodybuilding is about. That's what the whole scene is about. And it's about partying. That's what it is. And why don't they just admit to that? That's why I have a problem with all of it. It's deceptive. They've created a totally different illusion to sell products. Now, the thing is, they attract their target audience too with all this. I mean, all the gay dudes love it. Every gay dude I know loves this stuff. They see it and they love it. Even if they don't work out, they start thinking about working out. Because Brittany is in the fashion industry, so obviously we know a lot of gay people. We have a lot of gay friends. Oh, they eat this shit up. They watch some of these videos and they know what's up. They know what's going on with this whole bodybuilding thing. It's just all these young, naive guys, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue what it's about. It really is about homies over hoes. All right, you don't need the hoes, you got the homies. Just like in prison. Or just think about it. But yeah, in any event, there you have it. He's revealed Rashid Stack, Tren Anabar test. Tren Anabar test. Pretty simple, but that'll get it done, and that would definitely explain his physique and the way that he looks. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.